A dark army has decided to come to an island and slaughter all the cats that live there? What kind of messed up is that? The good news is you can save them all. Today we're talking about the Isle of Cats. What's up, Meeples? Welcome to Hero of the Meeple, where we talk board games and more. Today we're going to be going over the rules and how to play for the Isle of Cats. Do me a favor, would you take a moment to make that like button by giving it a quick click. The Isle of Cats is a game by the City of Games for 1 to 4 players and designed by Frank West. I will be talking about the base rules today, however there are also family rules, which makes the rules somewhat simpler, as well as solo rules for those of you that like to play board games solo. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like me to make a video on either the family rules or the solo rules. So in the Isle of Cats, for some reason, this D-bag named Lord Vesh is on his way to this island of mystical and fantastical cats, and he just wants to kill them all. Man, this sucks. I don't want a whole island of cats to be destroyed. That's like really, really sad. I wish there was something I could do about it. Oh wait, that's the whole premise of the game. The Isle of Cats is a card drafting polyomino tile placing game where you compete against your friends to rescue the most cats onto your ship. And hurry up before that jerk Vesh arrives, please. Okay, so how do we rescue these cats? Well, let's start with the setup. Each player is going to get their own shipboard, which has 2 sides. We're going to be using the side with the red cat on it, which is for the base rules. You'll notice that the shipboard is divided into a grid with squares that the polyomino tiles will fit into nicely, or not so nicely. Looking over the shipboard, there are a few components that you should take notice of, specifically the colored maps scattered around, the rats, as well as the different rooms on the ship. You'll be placing any tiles you get onto your shipboard. This includes treasures as well as the different colored cat tiles. When placing cat tiles on your ship, take a moment to notice what colored cat you're placing and see if you can place it on top of a colored map that matches of the same color. If you place a cat of the same color on top of a map, then you'll automatically be awarded with a common treasure tile you can place on your ship immediately. Common treasure tiles don't get you any points. However, they are very useful to fill in squares in your grid that might otherwise be difficult to fill in with cat tiles. Keep in mind that the common treasures, there's only 4 shapes of those, and they come in a reddish tint color as opposed to the rare treasures, which are goldish color. There are also rats scattered all throughout the ship. I don't know where these suckers came from, but they are taking up precious cat-saving cargo space. So let's cover them up. At the end of the game, any visible rat is going to be worth a -point each. Lastly, there are 7 rooms around the ship. Take note where they are located, because any room that is not completely filled by the end of the game is going to be worth -5 points. This is important. I'll tell you that from my first game, I saw that nice big open deck area and started filling in my cat tiles nicely into that area, and then I had like -25 points at the end of the game. So avoid that. So in addition to the shipboard, each player should also receive a permanent game basket tile, which will be important later on when you are rescuing cats. Each cat is going to require a complete basket to be rescued. Lastly, each player should get a colored cat token, which will represent them on the main island board to show their turn order. Now that players are ready to go, let's set up the playing field. Take the island board, put it in the middle of the table with the red cat side up. You'll see that it has these paws leading up to the top of the board. This is going to represent each player's turn order, so decide who's going first and place their cat tokens on those paws. Additionally, you're going to set Vesh's boat on the 5 placement on the island board. The Isle of Cats takes place over 5 rounds, or thematically it takes place over 5 days. Once the dark ship has arrived to that hand symbol, then that's the end of the game. Place the 4 common treasures in piles underneath the island board. Remember, there are only 4 shapes and they are a reddish tint. Then you're going to set out the 6 Oshaks tiles underneath the treasure tiles. The Oshaks cats are a more resilient type of cat on the island. They don't need your rescuing, however, they are more than willing to be befriended. Lay out the cat tokens and fish tokens. Lay out the discovery deck. Set out the permanent basket tiles. Place all the colored cat tiles and rare treasure tiles into the drafting bag. The starting player should draft tiles from the drafting bag and place any cats that are pulled out on the left and right side of the island board. These are called the left field and the right field. You'll take note that the price to rescue cats on the left field is different from the price to rescue cats from the right field. Any rare treasures that are pulled from the bag during this process should just be placed next to the common treasures. Take a look at the rules to see how many cats you should be drafting depending on the number of players in your group. Remember that any treasures you pull from the bag are not going to count towards your final cat tile count. All right, we're ready to play. There are 5 phases to each round. First, make sure that every player starts off the round with 20 fish tokens. The fish are going to be used to rescue cats as well as purchase cards. Second is the exploration phase or the card drafting phase. Here, each player will get 7 cards. From those 7 cards, you're gonna pick 2 and then pass your whole hand over to the next player. You're gonna repeat this 2 more times until you have just 1 more card over to pass. And at the end, everybody should end up with 7 cards once more. From here, you're actually going to decide which cards you want to purchase. So you don't need to actually purchase all 7 of those cards. In the top left-hand corner of each card is a number. That number signifies how much each card is going to cost. Once you've decided which cards you're going to purchase, place the rest in the discard pile and make sure to pay the appropriate amount of fish to the supply. There are several different types of cards in the deck, which we will go over in the next 3 phases. In phase 3, this is where you're gonna play any lesson cards and public lesson cards that you purchased. Remember, those are the cards with the blue trim. So for lesson cards, you're going to put those face down next to your shipboard. Lesson cards represent specific objectives that will get you points if you accomplish that objective by the end of the game, and these are for you individually. Then place any public lesson cards face up down on the table. These are similar to lesson cards, however, these are for the entire group, so anybody who accomplishes that goal or objective by the end of the game will get those points. Remember, points from lessons and public lesson cards are not always positive. We're into phase 4, and now what you've been waiting for, it's time to actually rescue some of those cats. You'll be using the green rescue cards, baskets, and fish, all to rescue cats. Remember those cats that we drafted into the left and right fields at the beginning of the round? Well, those are going to be the cats that are available to you for rescuing in this round. Players will present any green rescue cards that they're going to play during this round. You'll notice 1 or 2 symbols on each card. First is the boot symbol. The boot symbol represents your speed. The more boots that somebody has, the faster they are, and ultimately that means they're going to be first in turn order. So determine who has the most to least amount of boots and place their cat tokens in that order on the island board. The other symbol would be the basket symbol, which could either be a full basket or a half basket. Important to note is that it takes a full basket to rescue a cat. If you're playing a card that has a half basket, you need to play a second card that has a half basket on it. Otherwise, that one half basket won't be sufficient to rescue a cat. You'll also have your permanent basket tile, which you can use each round. When you use it, flip it over to the gray side to signify that it's been used. But don't worry, you get it back at the beginning of each round. Determine how many full baskets you have, and that's going to show you how many cats you can rescue in that round. The person who's first in turn order will start off by rescuing 1 cat, and then they'll move to the person who's second in turn order. Each player will take turns rescuing 1 cat at a time until every player is either out of fish, out of baskets, or decides to pass. Hello, Zuko. Have you come to join the video? Important, your first tile can be placed anywhere on your ship. However, any subsequent tiles need to be placed next to a previously placed tile. And diagonals don't count. 3 or more cats of the same color touching is considered a cat family, and that's what's going to get you points at the end of the game. Solo cats and cats of 2 of the same color will not get you any points. Once you have a family of 3 and you start to build on that, 4, 5, 6, it's gonna get you even more points. This brings us to the final phase of the round, which is rare finds. The Oshax cats can be rescued with the brown Oshax cards. They are essentially wild, so when you're able to recruit one of the Oshax, you bring them onto your ship and they have to be placed next to another tile as usual. However, you can designate what color they're ultimately going to represent. So if you want them to be a red cat and you place them to some of the red cat tiles on your ship, they're going to add to that family count for your end score. The rare treasures are used to draft rare treasure tiles. These are going to be the ones with the goldish chant that have been pulled out of the drafting bag, and these are going to be worth 3 points each at the end of the game. Remember, rare treasures are worth points and common treasures are not worth points. However, both are still useful to cover up squares on your grid, specifically those rats or to fill a room. Before we move on, I'll just mention the purple anytime cards. Those can be played anytime. Any cards or fish that you do not use in this round will carry over into the next round. Make sure to clear the left and right fields of any cats that were not rescued. You can put them in the box, they won't be used. Reset your permanent baskets and move Vesh's boat 1 space up on the board. So that's the end of the round. 4 more rounds of this and the game will end. Once all 5 rounds have ended and that ship has reached the hand symbol on the island board, that's it, it's time to do some scoring. Any visible rats at the end of the game are going to be worth 1 negative point each. Any rooms that have not been completely filled are going to be worth negative 5 points each. Remember, the deck area is not considered a room, so you're not going to be penalized for not filling that area. So while placing your tiles, you may want to concentrate on other parts of your ship. Now calculate the points from your cat families. Remember, a cat family has 3 or more of the same color touching each other. The more you have, the more points it's going to be worth. Add up your points from any rare treasures you have. They are worth 3 points each. Reveal your lesson cards. If you've met any of the objectives on the lesson cards, add those points to your scores. Also, take a look at the public lesson cards. If you've met any objectives on the public lesson cards, then add those points to your score. Now you can determine who the winner of the Isle of Cats is. Hey, have you hit the like button yet? What's that? Oh, you don't like this video? How about this cat? Do you like this cat? Like this video if you like this cat. Have you played the Isle of Cats yet? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. Also, if you haven't checked out my last video, it's on the 5 best cat board games for cat lovers. I'll link it down in the description. Make sure to check that out after this. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing or sharing, or both. Alright Meeples, these heroes have some gaming to do. We'll see you later.